volunteer,
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 Saw Laura, she was wearing a volunteer badge for the Reading Train Foundation.
It's embarrassing. Mom, you need a life. Why can't you just volunteer at the museum or volunteer at the museum or volunteer at the museum or bring pudding to old people?
So Clara and I suggested that she volunteer for the organization. We couldn't be prouder.
I want to volunteer to be one of the lookouts in the clock tower.
There are no lookouts in the clock tower.
I thought Carol was that.
She was. I volunteered to take her place.
Am I a horrible person? I used to win awards for volunteer work. I went to Guatemala and fixed cleft palates.
I've been volunteering at the Trenton Free Clinic. Keeps me busy.
You volunteer every night and every weekend?
You don't have to do this.
I was a volunteer fireman. I put out fires, I got kittens out of trees, the whole 9 yards.
like an intelligence op.
CIA, NSA, DHS.
Same letters, different alphabet. I had some buddies from the service volunteer for intelligence ops.
Wait, why am I seeing only half a quartet?
Ed and Jim are volunteer firemen.
Of course they are. Try to play in front of a mirror.
I can't do it alone. I need your help. So dig deep, unless you want to volunteer your own blood.
Excuse me, I was in high school. Studying, keeping my nose clean, doing volunteer work for the community.
Normally.
Normally. Normally.
Normally.
Normally.
Just stay close and don't do what you'd normally do.
Actually, there's conflicting cases about whether coma patients can in fact dream normally, or they're more like hallucinating.
Hi. I don't normally do this, but I was watching you and... Can I buy you a drink?
You know, normally when somebody does something nice for you, you just say thank you.
Stupid and sexist. I mean, it's like, hey, thanks for the crumb. And normally I would just blow it off because school dances suck torture.
You're gonna have to exit the vehicle.
I normally don't do blind dates, but Paul and Robin spoke very highly of you.
I knew you'd never shag me normally.
No, that's not true. I called it off tonight. I told him not to come tonight.
It's not taken. Why don't you sit here?
It's just that Brody normally sits next to you.
Brody's not here, is he? Come on, scooch over.
Normally grows on rye. The effects are dire. Spasms, vomiting, dropsy, gangrene, and...
Normally I like things hot and wet.
Uh-huh.
You know, normally I'd agree with you, Paige, but you really owe yourself a break, Charlie.
That's true.
Although I could go for a double vodka rocks right about now.
You normally drink spirits before, 10 in the morning. I'm from. What me? Regress you. Normally we would use a sensory deprivation chamber, but in the absence of that...
Be great! I'm sorry, Constable Who, but we don't normally attend banquets for bureaucrats.
Oh, Chang's not just any bureaucrat. He's the bureaucrat.
Well, we've already exhausted every topic that one would normally talk about on a first date, and a second date, and a third date, and every date, actually, and I've already seen you shirtless.
Persist.
Persist.
Persist. Persist. Persist.
Has to break it off, but you won't let her go. You persist. You persist. You persist.
So, why can I not move on? Why does the matter persist in buzzing away at my most precious commodity, my concentration?
Nor would I persist against so many of my better instincts in this correspondence.
Is that a good use of your time for a facts and figures man? But you persist in the wind and the rain and the cold.
Who is it?
It's Randy. His gyno difficulties persist.
Sort of pattern, he just can't make out what it was.
The mystery of the tattoos persists.
You moved into our backyard, you shot up Main Street. If I let that threat persist, I look weak, and...
Maybe I am out of my depth. And yet this feeling persists.
What proof have you got?
Oh, none, at the moment. But if you persist in your lie, I'll summon the doctor and have him examine you.
Beat.
Beat.
Beat. Beat. Beat.
Tell you the truth, that's why I stopped playing him in tennis.
You beat him at tennis?
Of course not. It's John freaking McEnroe.
Your boss beat him to remind you who's in charge.
My boss beat him for fun, beat him for fun, beat him for fun.
Give me that. I'm gonna beat you blind, beat you blind, beat you blind, boy, I swear to God.
Take about 90 seconds to get back down to the ground floor.
I bet you could beat that.
Yeah? Why?
If I remember right, you beat a man to death.
You stole from me.
Relax.
Clark. Beat it, Murphy.
Well then, have a good one.
You just want me to keep driving or what?
My father beat me with a riding crop when he found out we had the Pinion Tree.
Patient precedes you, youngest woman in the NYPD to make detective. Beat me by 6 weeks.
With her stupid-ass file of evidence, and I told her to scram, get out of here, beat it! And if I ever see your face around here, you're gonna regret it. I told her.
Beat me pretty good before. Any better now?
We missed one. Don't beat yourself up about it. If you hadn't gotten us through that gauntlet. But if he's just agreeing with you so he can beat this DUI charge, you got left holding back.
I don't wake up every morning with the expectation that I'm gonna bat 1,000, Chief.
Bark. Bark.
Bark. Bark. Bark.
What do you mean, my mom? Remember, dogs don't talk. They bark. They bark. They bark.
They what?
Bark, bark, bark. Woof, woof. Like that.
Woof, woof.
Why are you running away, Weinzelstein? I got you a birthday present.
That's okay. You didn't have to give me anything.
I got you some bark. 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 And you're gonna eat it.
Cool. I was gonna eat bark, bark, bark anyway.
No, you weren't.
Just a little office difficulty, sir.
Rooney, I don't have all day to bark at you, so I'm gonna make this short.
Huntington, make your dogs bark again for me, would you please?
At least I'm not barking up the wrong tree.
Last I heard, that motherfucker was doing time up in Greenville.
But ain't now. He had a hard bark on him.
I need fennel root for those with fever, willow bark. Mostly I need milk of the poppy.
He speaks very highly of you.
Really?
David's all bark. A very loud bark.
But you get paroled, vet turns up murdered. You see where I'm going with this? Make your dog bark?
You told me to bring Shotzi so you can hand bark.
Shotzi?
It means treasure in German.
Yeah, I want to hear Shotzi bark.
You don't need to be sorry. I owe you one. I'm starting to hear Amanda bark orders to me in my dreams.
So we're cool?
Slow motion.
Then teach me something useful. We've been here for days, and so far all you've done is bark orders.
Patience. Patience.
Patience.
Patience. Patience.
We had numbers, and we had the surprise part. How are we losing?
Patience, son. Patience, son. Patience, son.
The forest wasn't grown in a day.
What's the most important thing in a rice bowl?
The rice?
Everything but the rice. The love and the patience. And the patience. And the patience.
It just takes patience, patience, patience. You owe yourself that much.
I think if you press too hard, you put the hostage at risk. We're going to need to use some tactical patience.
I ask my fellow Angelinos for their patience and understanding.
All right,
Listen to me. Turn around now.
Am I gonna see my wife again?
Turn around. I'm losing my patience with you.
Listen to me.
I'm reaching the end of my patience with you.
We can play this game as long as you like.
9 across. What is it? Patience. Maker. That's with most puzzles.
Thanks for your patience. We need to check the balance on an account. LaPlante Industries.
She's gonna lose patience, and when she does, deploy the fog.
You know, I have exercised a type of patience with you that I am not accustomed to. Do you know where that is? Huh?
Why not?
Now's the time for patience. Don't force the pieces. Store them away.
Layout.
Layout.
Layout. Layout.
Layout.
So, kind of familiar with the layout. The layout. The layout.
Can you describe the layout? The layout? The layout?
Well, it's pretty confusing, but I could try.
If you know the layout, the weak side is obvious. In Ben Waters' case, it's the secure housing unit.
Leave it till 2 or 3, then. Just go down and get an idea of the layout of the house.
The other day, the layout pages.
Why on earth were you doing that?
By Stanley, that you trained in. So think back. The security layout, the law.
4, 5. What are you doing, beautiful mind? I'm mentally scanning the layout of the store for security cameras.
Do we have those layouts?
Yes, sir. It's for the event. Physical layout, guard deployment, personnel numbers.
And it was the most complicated layout I'd ever seen.
Remote. 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 Remote.
Remote.
When you buy a skyscraper, always spring for the elevator remote. The elevator remote. The elevator remote.
You're doing, Miss Miller. This does not end well for you. If you just put the remote down, put the remote down, put the remote down, we'll never speak of this. My office, please.
Ooh, automatic door remote. Door remote. Door remote. That's very beast, sir.
Now listen carefully. You're to break into the control room, access the remote system.
Oh, yeah, I've been wanting to try something. I'll crack into the phone company's remote monitoring system and fool it into thinking there's a legal tap on the line.
Who controls? The guy who invented TV Begun is speaking. It's a remote. You walk into a bar and turn off.
Dangerous, deadly, but remote. Think harder, brother.
Sir, remote detonations failed.
We are negative for go-side separation, negative for launch.
It's a remote connectivity issue.
Is it working?
I'm using the bug to remote access the computer right now.
One of the older men has a pacemaker.
If it's remote programmable.
It'll have a GPS.
Leap.
Leap.
Leap. Leap. Leap.
To ask America who is ready to jump on the potty. And I'm confident our sales are going to leap over expectations.
Look, he's a great kid, and you're clearly a great, mildly compulsive woman. Take the leap. Take the leap. Take the leap.
100 meters from the jump! Something's not right. Striker, the buggy's out forward. Take the leap. Take the leap. Take the leap now! Come on, Gary! Leap! Leap!
Because every now and then, you gotta take a leap of faith.
Brave. Is that what you call it? Letting my little buddy take a leap to his death.
When he ceases to doubt himself, he will fly.
Take this leap of faith with me, John Murphy. And let me show you there's so much more for you than this.
In the jacket. I could make that leap. He's got the same juvie officer as Derek.
You're gonna leap across the room, grab them out of my hand.
I don't know. Seems like a bit of a leap.
Yeah, which is what you do when you got nothing, because all I know is the copycat, he torched every record down at Unidac.
Since lightning struck in the past 24 hours, subject has taken a great leap forward.
Desirable. Desirable.
Desirable.
Desirable.
Desirable.
Desirable woman in Florence is a subject.
She was never my subject.
She certainly has a symmetry and low body fat that Western culture deems desirable. Desirable.
Am I that undesirable?
No, you're very desirable. You're very desirable. You're very desirable. In a big way.
Oh, yes, he's going to come up and bite you because your leg looks so desirable in those...
Kat was the firstborn daughter after all. It was important that she remained desirable so father could arrange a good match for her.
They find their mate more desirable when he's being courted by another female. Her missing you is an emotional state you find desirable. Why Leonard is such an attractive and desirable boyfriend? Well, I was too busy squishing all the desirable parts of her body.
He did you a favor.
He made me look weak.
He made you look desirable.
You are pristine to him. He asked me if I found you desirable, but I find everyone desirable.
Right, what happened? June was crushing it, but I still hadn't seen a desirable unit until...
My grandson is the pride of High Garden, the most desirable bachelor in all 7 kingdoms.
So today you'll see me not as your naked and desirable wife.
Forward. 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 Forward.
Basket boy number 9, Bryce Lusky.
I knew I was supposed to step forward, but I couldn't move.
Now, Mr. North, let's fast forward, shall we? 45 minutes, the night of the murder.
Service. With the young man who brought me this scroll. Please, come forward. Come forward. Come forward.
5 minutes! Step forward! Those beds better be made.
Why didn't you come forward before? What were you waiting for?
Well, for you, Inspector.
Can you forward me that video, please?
Yeah, me too. I really love that song.
No, you guys, that's private.
Husband.
Hockey. A forward from Moose Jaw checked him so hard his sternum broke and he punctured a lung.
And besides, what are you gonna do? Just walk out there and ask the killer to step forward?
That's something for the ladies to look forward to.
I hate you.
You're saying it's not a coincidence this woman comes forward now?
I'm saying it's not a coincidence we can ignore.
Criteria.
Criteria. Criteria.
Criteria.
Criteria.
Or loans.
The lenders are already giving loans to borrowers with good credit, so they go bottom feeding. They lower their criteria.
Now, it would be rare for someone as young as yourself, but you do fit the criteria.
Have happened. I don't base my decisions on gender. I hire people based on 3 criteria, that they be smart, driven, and have balls. And yes, I heard myself.
Investigating Emily's abduction, only one person meets those particular criteria.
The agent from the DEA.
Debbie, you can't tell me he doesn't meet the criteria for posing a threat to passengers and crew.
But doesn't meet my criteria.
He's a decent guy, and you know it. Recent and reliable information, that's the criteria.
Can't use the same standards to compare.
What, you're advocating a more demanding criteria for charter schools and others?
Our point is simple, friend.
The criteria is a starting point. They're suggested, not mandated.
But it's possible. Assuming you and your husband fit all the criteria, yes, it's possible.